welcome to Afflictions Sugarcoated, a podcast where we sugarcoat some of the world's so-called afflictions and rate their plausibility on a scale of 1 to 5. I'm Minnie Kim, and today we'll be sugarcoating dream schools. As many high schoolers will know, or at least have come to realize in the past few weeks, early decisions for colleges are out, or at least some of them. I have a little something against early decisions this year because almost every senior I know and have had the good luck of acquainting myself with have had relatively disappointing decisions. I'd say I go to a quite competitive school, and it comes as a prerequisite that everyone at least half cares about college admissions. Just 3 years ago, the legend has it that it would be very rude to ask a senior about their decisions or their college of choice. I mean, that culture's changed a bit. We even have an Instagram account nowadays posting where seniors have committed to. But I guess even then, some people just didn't want to brag. Some people just wanted to live a quiet life, and some people were just embarrassed. I'd say that that last category has been growing a lot due to how competitive admissions have been. I'll be careful not to say much about the admissions process because I too want to go to college one day. There are interesting facets, however, about the system that I want to mention to you all. And in case you're not caught up on how decisions work, stats are becoming less and less important. So those include your GPA, your ACT, your SAT scores. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, though, because I'm just parroting what other people online have said, and we know those ones are always accurate. So, extracurriculars and how long you do them for and how committed you are to them, whether it is truly out of your good heart, is becoming way more important than stats. Volunteering, community service, I don't know, a good lot of good clubs. I know a lot of people who start cleaning a local beach from 8th grade just for that extracurricular. That's 1 out of 10 that you can fill out on the Common App. Then we have the essay, which I think is the most fascinating of them all. There needs to be a narrative. There needs to be something in your life that makes things interesting, or there needs to be a small habit, or there just needs to be a big tragedy, or there needs to be something quirky, or you just have to be a really creative person and take some tiny thing that no one would actually care about and turn it into a life lesson as to why you chose to pursue computer science. I don't know about people, but that's also just kind of hard for me. I don't regard myself as particularly interesting, just another try hard, and there are loads of those in my school. I think what's worse is the fact that you're essentially competing with your friends. I try not to bring this up, but I keep having to do it because it's just an interesting topic for me. But only after I realized the sensitive culture about college in my school that I had to shut up and restrain myself a bit. Relationships can indeed become toxic with competition. A senior said this pretty well. Trying to dig up each other's GPA is just toxic. But at the same time, just because it's toxic doesn't mean that we have to make it toxic. I want to be capable of maintaining a friendship even if we're applying to the same school during senior year. I don't want to hate them. But then again, no one really wants to hate another person. We kind of just do. So I also happen to live in a dorm. Two of the people in my small dorm are seniors. These are very good people. They practically babysit the underclassmen, as one of them put it, and they're always giving us advice about how to succeed in our school. And truly, I could not ask for better mentors. So to me, the bias is pretty evident, and I hope that bias is evident to you when I say this, but when they say they were going to apply to these certain schools I will not name, it felt very obvious to me that they were going to get in. I mean, not just because they were nice people, but they were at the top of their class, taking beyond first year college level math. They were publishing papers, and one of them even worked for the university she was applying for. When they either got deferred or rejected, it didn't really register to me. The way I took it and the way the rest of our dorm took it, if they got rejected or deferred from these colleges, we're just not going to college at all. There was no way. The main question was just why? A lot of people describe the college process as very unpredictable. I don't want to say random because it's really not random. I'm sure admissions officers make very calculated decisions, or at least I hope they do. Back home in South Korea, practically one test determines which college people get into. And at that point, it's even more toxic. Parents are forced to spend ridiculous amounts of money on test preparation, creating class disparities. They'll become a lot stricter, and I think this is where the idea of tiger parenting comes from. At least it does in South Korea. Because becoming an influencer doesn't necessarily mean it helps with the college process anymore. Doing basketball, that doesn't help with the college process. You just sit at your desk and you study. This one test, your grades, and maybe an essay will decide your fate in that country. They rank you and they cut you off. It's a very simple system. They rank you based on your grades, your test, and that's it. A similar system exists in most East Asian countries and even the UK as well. Your admission is mainly based on your grades in the UK, A levels, IB, or at least predicted scores, I think, etc. I've had a lot of debates as to whether the system is more beneficial or not. Theoretically, the US system is indeed superior. It asks students to go out of their comfort zone, explore things a bit more by helping out their community, like engaging in ECs like debate, joining clubs. It's very helpful for them to realize that life isn't about studying, but about network connections, being good at a certain subject that you dig deeper about it, and ultimately finding your passion. And I think the hope coming from colleges is that they will exert this passion on their college campus and there will be another Nobel Prize tied to their university name. The issue, however, is simple. This isn't executed properly, and it ends up being an unideal world in which people who did everything quote unquote right, who joined these clubs, who got the grades, who got the scores, who won these awards, but they still don't get into their dream college because they got sidebanked by some legacy, by some athlete, by some more interesting person, because that person was just more appealing to the interviewer. It's meritocratic, but it's kind of not. The meritocratic system is broken, and the colleges, while trying to fix it, either doesn't or breaks it even more. Just because there's global warming doesn't mean that steps that don't really do much but are still showing effort should be disregarded. I certainly know that the Korean system is not entirely meritocratic, as much as they try to make it out so. And in the US system, there's something called a gut feeling. There can be one student who technically outperforms another person in terms of grades, in terms of scores, and maybe in terms of ECs. But what if the other student simply has more experience than them? What if they had to work through difficulties in life, through challenging situations that put into perspective that grades weren't necessarily everything? What if the admissions officer senses more passion in this one student? It's a coin toss, but not really. It's a coin toss in how you're made and how interesting you are or can be in life, or at least what the college senses you to be. But it's definitely not a coin toss insofar as the less qualified candidate is not going to get in. I trust, or I believe to trust the system. Things will work out. The rejection letter seems so cold in that they seem to be disregarding the fact that students may have worked their entire life to shoot their shot at a dream college. It seems cold and patronizing in that they have crushed one's dreams and changed their entire life course. But I want to believe that college is more about the thrive than the name. Thriving someplace is the greatest indicator of success, and isn't thriving contingent on the right fit? And isn't the right fit contingent on this gut feeling after knowing this place for a while? The admissions officers, I guess they do have this gut feeling. My sister got rejected from her early decision college, and I can't understand it. She had great ECs, but she didn't really have the grades. Other seniors, honestly, I still can't understand it. But I hope and I know that it will be alright. And the rage won't last, and the maddening burden near the holidays won't magically disappear. But it will certainly ease up. I can't know for certain, but that doesn't really matter as long as you know it for certain. So I give the sugarcoating of Dream Colleges a 3.5. This podcast was written and produced by me, Minnie Kim. If you have any comments or reviews, please feel free to write any and all thoughts in your podcast reviews. If you'd like to suggest an affliction for me to sugarcoat, please email me via afflictionsugarcoated@gmail.com. I want to end the podcast by saying that the message here is very much genuine. To all the seniors that got accepted, obviously, congratulations. You're likely an amazing person and you deserve it, and clearly the college sees that. To all the seniors that got rejected or deferred, I hope you know that things will indeed work out. But aside from that, happy holidays.